Welcome back to episode 81 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. I wish I can come on here more happy today, but I can't. When you lose like your second best starting pitcher, and you lose your star shortstop, it's kind of hard to be happy right now. But we will find ways to make this fun and have some joy with this. But wow, that was a depressing way to start this. Same cast of characters as always, myself and Kyle. We got stuff we got to talk about today. But before we get into that, Kyle, how are you doing today?
Well, I mean, for you at least, I wish that I could, wish I could do something here. I mean, obviously we don't need this depressing podcast, but I'm doing fantastic. I couldn't really complain when I got the news that Garrett Cole will be starting, slowing the tab up there in the Bronx against the Orioles. So obviously I cannot complain. I'm doing well, man. How are you? Other than the Dodgers.
No, I'm doing good. Listen, there's a certain person on my job that can fix all that, but that's a conversation for another day. Um, um, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just got off working a 6 game homestand. Dodgers 3-3. Don't like that, but took the series from Kansas City, but unfortunately it came with a price. Topics at hand today. Dodger injuries. There's a good amount of them. Some that you don't even know about either. But Dodgers City Connect jerseys officially got released. I'm excited to talk about that because Kyle texted me in the morning saying, "Hey, save your thoughts for the podcast," which I did. But they're not as bad as people think. I'm telling you, they're not as bad. First All-Star voting, the first update for the All-Star game voting came out today. A lot of people not happy with certain people. Braves not happy with Ozuna being in second place and by a wide margin, I may add. But we'll continue to get into that. Mariners' biggest division lead in the American League. Who saw that coming into the year? I didn't. And then we'll finish off with some Yankees. Kyle mentioned it earlier, but Garrett Cole coming back on Wednesday. I'm definitely going to watch that. But I'm sure Kyle will have way more on the Yankees outside of Garrett Cole, as Boston seems to have their number on ESPN for some reason.
Always, I don't get it. Don't understand it.
But we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But starting off at the top, Dodger injuries. You talk about a nightmare 12 hours for this Dodger team. You lose Yamamoto on Saturday. You got to scramble your whole bullpen to get 7 more innings out of them. And then the next day, Mookie Betts gets hit in the right hand, or in his left hand, his left hand, and he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. And listen, initially, when I saw that happen, I thought, oh my God, he's done for the season. It just sucks. It sucks. Mookie Betts has had to sacrifice so much this season because Gavin Lux was supposed to be the guy at shortstop. He didn't pan out. They had to put him at second base. And Mookie stepped up and said, hey, I'll be the shortstop. Sure, I haven't done it since high school, but I'll do it. I'll make the sacrifice. And so far, honestly, in the first 2.5 months of him being a shortstop, I'd grade it a B minus. A B minus. He wasn't perfect, but it wasn't horrible either where you had to put him back at second or you had to put him back in right field. And his offensive numbers have kind of taken just a little dip this season. He got off to that enormous hot start to begin the season. I think I was texting Kyle every single night the first week of the season after he hit a home run. MVP, MVP. And his numbers have really dipped. And I really do think a part of it has been the heavy workload that he's taken on to start this season. Because all the times that he's been on the road, all this time that he's been at home, he is usually the first guy on the field. I show up to Dodger Stadium like at 2:30 every day for work. And more often than not, he's out there taking ground balls or he's doing infield drills with Dodger third baseman Dino Ebel. He takes it seriously. And to have his season not come to an end, but to be kind of. Listen, he's not going to be back until mid to late August. And that's probably being optimistic. It just sucks. I'm going to throw this out there. I thought about this yesterday. Is this the universe telling Mookie Betts to not be a shortstop? Because there was so many Dodger people, Dodger fans, and many people around baseball that, hey, Mookie Betts is a great player. But to just throw him at shortstop when he's never done it, it's a tall task. And to keep up the offensive numbers that he puts up usually, it's a tall task. Is this the universe saying that Mookie Betts shouldn't have been at shortstop? Listen, I know it's not apples to apples because, he didn't get hurt trying to field a baseball. He got hurt standing in the box by a 98-mile-an-hour pitch, and he couldn't get out of the way fast enough. But it just sucks. You hate to see that. You don't want to see that with any player, let alone a guy like Mookie Betts. And, this cost him a start in the All-Star game in a couple weeks. This cost him a National League MVP because I think that's out the window now. Whether he would have stayed healthy, and I think there was better guys in the National League anyways, but he was right up there betting-wise, and if he would continue to play decent shortstop and kind of pick up the offensive numbers a little bit, he definitely would have been the favorite. I think that's gone now. The most important thing right now, if you're the Dodgers, is just get him healthy. Mookie Betts said it in the postgame yesterday afternoon. Maybe this is a good reset for him to clear his mind, because there were times at the plate where, I'm not going to lie, I was getting a little frustrated. Like, you're popping up to right field again? You're grounding out to shortstop again? There's been a couple games here where he's kind of gone 0 for 4, 0 for 5, and for a Dodger team that's trying to go places where we want to see this team, that's not gonna cut it. It's not gonna be any good. But Yamamoto, huge. I think that's bigger. That's a bigger problem than the Mookie Betts injury, because Yamamoto, first year in the big leagues, making the transformation from Japan to Major League Baseball in America. I heard many people say that he threw his slider a lot in his last start against the Yankees, and he's been throwing it a lot more to start his MLB career, just because these are Major League hitters. They can hit his fastball. They can hit a lot of people's fastballs. So you have to rely on those secondary pitches. And I think that was part of what the shoulder. First they said it was somewhere in his his chest, like upper chest. I forget. But then they said it was a shoulder. And that's where I get a little concerned. And he was arguably our second best pitcher. I know he got lit up in Korea. I know he kind of had a slow start in April, but he picked it up. And he was making the adjustments, and he had his best start against the Yankees last Friday. And I did find it very strange, because he was supposed to pitch Thursday against the Rangers, and ironically that would have been his bobblehead night. So that would have been special. But I did find it very strange from the beginning that they pushed his start back to 2 days. I understand they're trying to keep Yamamoto on his regular day's rest like he had it in Japan. And the Dodgers have done a great job of keeping pretty much the same routine he had in Japan over here with the Dodgers in the United States. But this is a big problem and a concern. Again, he might not be back until August. Now, I'm going to be optimistic, Melo, here and say, all right, we have other guys coming back from injury. We have Clayton Kershaw coming back. Bobby Miller's going to pitch this week against the Rockies. Walker Buehler hopefully is going to start figuring it out soon. Keep Yamamoto as fresh as possible down the stretch and when it matters the most. But it's concerning. And once you look past Tyler Glasnow, who had a great pitching performance last night, and once you look past Yamamoto, there's some question marks. Even with Tyler Glasnow, the big rub on him is that he's never been healthy. And then you look at the other guys in this rotation. Bobby Miller coming back from injury. Kershaw coming back from injury. James Paxton, who, he's good, but he can also have his days where he gets lit up and it's not good. And then after that, you have a bunch of bullpen guys. You have Gavin Stone, who's been fantastic this season. But are we really going to rely on a rookie to kind of lead this pitching staff in October? We saw how that went last year with guys like Miller and Emmett Sheehan and guys like that. But the Yamamoto injury is a lot more concerning and a bigger deal to me because once you look past the two top guys in the rotation, it gets very thin very quickly. And with Mookie Betts, it's a big deal, don't get me wrong, but you still got Shohei Ohtani. You still got Freddie Freeman. You still got Will Smith. You still got a whole bunch of firepower in there. And other guys are going to get their opportunities. Andy Pages is going to continue to go out there. Kike is going to be now at third base or whatever. Miguel Rojas is now going to be plugged in a shortstop every day. And Miguel Vargas is going to get a chance now because he wasn't getting a fair shot a couple weeks ago. But if there's ever a season where the Dodgers need to go all in and make a trade, this is it. Because you're probably not getting Mookie back until after the trade deadline. And I don't want to hear Andrew Friedman or Dave Roberts say, oh, well, our trade deadline acquisitions are Max Muncy, Mookie Betts, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I swear to God, if they say that, I'm going to be so upset. The Dodgers need to stop being cheap, and they have to trade for somebody this trade deadline.
Yeah, man, I think you pretty
Damn, that
much
was a
hit
lot.
that. Um, I can't really add too much on here, but I am going to double down with what you said. I think Yamamoto's injury is a whole lot more important than Mookie Betts. And I think that's absolutely crazy to say because Mookie Betts is one of the best players in baseball. But you hit it right on the head. When you look at this lineup is still star-studded. You take Betts out of the equation, you still have Otani doing his thing. You have Teoscar Hernandez, who's having a hell of a year. You have all of these guys who are still going to step up and do their thing. And then, like you said, you have these younger guys coming up who are kind of like, okay, well, why not me? Right? So
Yep.
they have everything to prove. And they're going to be playing their hearts out every single night. Now, I'm going to switch over to the rotation here. Tyler Glass now is healthy, right? And we're seeing what he can do. I absolutely love watching Tyler Glass now pitch. I think he is one of the best starters in baseball when he's healthy and when he's on. I think there's no doubt in my mind that he can go in October with the Dodgers being the ace. I have no doubt in my mind. But you are one Tyler Glass now injury away from having some real problems with this rotation. Now, Yamamoto, it does worry me a little bit because he is using those secondary pitches more. He has to rely on them more. You know, throwing the slider more, throwing all of his secondary pitches, it's taking a toll because he's not used to it. That's not what he did exactly. It's not what he did over in Japan. You know, in Japan, his fastball was lively.
Yep.
Like he was striking guys out left and right, and there was some movement on that fastball. And I'm not saying by any means that it's not the same over here in America, but the transition, and you hit it when you had said about the hitters. These are major league hitters who are used to hitting fastball. Usually they sit on fastballs in every single at bat. That's how it is. So Yamamoto is now forced to use these secondary pitches that he did not use that much over in Japan, which is now taking a toll on his shoulder. And we just saw that. So I think this rotation will be okay, but damn, Tyler Glass now stay healthy. Please. That is the biggest thing right now. Um, but like you said, like these other guys are getting the job done, right? Gavin Stone, I didn't know Gavin Stone until he had his start against the Yankees.
You
And
get
when I watched
stoned.
him,
Get
I remember,
stoned once a week with
yeah,
Gavin Stone, baby.
I remember you texting me that. Um, and it's like these guys will come up and they will perform, they will do their thing. But Yamamoto's a huge loss. not saying Mookie's not, but we already touched on that. I think the lineup is fine. This rotation just has to stay level until Yamamoto comes back, until the rest of these guys from the injury. If you guys can get Bobby Miller back, Walker Bueller at a decent level, I think you guys are set. You're fine. But also, this lineup needs to learn, like, hey, Mookie's out now, but we still got to keep our foot on the gas. And it's the same with the rotation with Yamamoto. I think we'll be fine with the Dodgers, but we're getting into the dog days here. This is where the season starts getting,
A little bit
fatigued
long.
and everything. It is. So these guys just need to step up, keep doing their thing. The one thing I want to touch on here real quick before we move on is the National League West, right? So the Dodgers are obviously in first place. They hold an 8-game lead against the Padres. That is good.
And that's with the Dodgers not even at their best. That's
Exactly.
I've been seeing this team for 2.5 months now. They're an average baseball team.
Hmm.
They're above average, but they play average. They'll win
Yes.
games 10-1, and then they'll lose games 3-1 the next night.
Yep. I totally get it. And that's what I've been seeing from this Dodger team, too. They currently hold an 8-game lead against second place Padres. And then you have Arizona, San Francisco, Colorado following suit. Um, the one thing I will say is I think this 8-game lead couldn't have come in a better time,
Yep.
right? If you guys could just stay coasting the water, keep going, and exactly what we just touched on, I think the Dodgers will be okay, especially because Mookie Betts, as of now, will not be out for the season. So you should get Yamamoto and Mookie Betts back, once baseball starts heating up for postseason. And then obviously whatever moves that the Dodgers make at the deadline. I would like to see the Dodgers go out and get another starter, plug another guy in there, just in case this Yamamoto injury is a little bit more severe than what they're letting on. Um, Higher ended starter, maybe a 3, a 4 in a rotation kind of guy.
Garrett
That's what
Crochet, you are a Dodger, my friend.
that would be a huge pickup. But I mean, even an Eric Fetty from
Yeah.
the White Sox, these guys have consistently been our player of the game. I've been noticing that.
Yeah.
So these are guys who the Dodgers can go out and have it as a security blanket just in case Yamamoto, whatever goes on there. Other than that, I think the Dodgers would be fine. Obviously, I'm not a Dodger fan, but if this happened in the Yankees, I'd be freaking the hell out, so I totally understand. Um, but like I said, from an outsider's point of view, I think the Dodgers will be fine once these guys start coming back and everything starts falling into place. It might be a different story if they didn't currently hold an 8-game lead in the NL
Yeah.
West. But as of now, that's my thoughts on the Dodgers.
Let's give the Blue Jays a call, too, while we're at it.
Yeah, they might be open
Bo,
for business.
what's up? We
This
just
is
brought your friend over, Kevin Biggio. Why not?
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Blue Jays do because currently have the standings up right now. They're in unfamiliar territory right now, fourth place in the AL East, and unless they catch up with Boston there, I don't know. I'm not sure what wild card would be available.
Speaking of interesting, Dodgers released their City Connect jerseys today.
Yes, they did.
Of course, like everything, the leak was correct. We had saw these leaked out maybe about a month and a half ago, and a lot of Dodger fans from the jump did not like it. I think I definitely would put myself in that category. I was making fun of it with the whole Pop Tarts and stuff. But the more I look at it and the more that I see it, I like them. I really like them. Listen, you're gonna have those old head Dodger fans and those purists that are like, This is embarrassing. You have to stay with the white or you have to stay with the gray. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. It's 2024. Tradition's out the window right now. I'm sorry. It's never been at an all-time low. Have you seen what these other teams have been wearing? Tradition's out the window right now. A lot of people, and I'm even going to throw Dodger fans in there too, they just don't get the design behind it. And that shocks me. That really shocks me. I like the front where it says Los Angeles. No, it is not the DirecTV logo. It is like the thing going across. It's implementing a shooting star. A shooting star. I really like the caption that they use to present these jerseys. A city of dreamers, a city of stars. This is Los Angeles. Perfect. Perfect. To me, that's perfect right there. The little dots on the jersey, they're not supposed it's not supposed to mean a strawberry pop tart or a blueberry pop tart. It's supposed to mean, the galaxy and the stars and the sky. And if you look at the colors, it's the same colors as the seats at Dodger Stadium. You got the baby blue, you got the yellow, and you got the orange in there, and the turquoise. That's what that means. In the bottom right corner, you got a little hashtag, ITFDE. That's Vin Scully's famous line, "It's time for Dodger baseball." I love that. Paying homage to Vin Scully. Would I have liked? I think would I have liked them to put the whole thing on there? Maybe, but I can live with that. Um, I know people are not crazy about the jersey number in the back. Yeah, I can get behind that. But again, it's old font, and the Los Angeles on the front, paying homage to the Coliseum, the LA Memorial Coliseum, where they originally came after they left Brooklyn. They were at the Coliseum for 4 years while Dodger Stadium was being built. That's the same similar kind of font and how it looks. So, and the cap's okay. I need to see that. Is it black or is it navy blue? I need to see that up front with my own two eyes. But I like the LAD. I like it. I like it better on the jersey than the hat. But and then once I saw Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman in them, I was sold already. I'm like, oh man, that looks good. Some people might think I'm crazy, but I really like these City Connect jerseys. I really do. And I think once I see them up close, and they're probably going to wear them this weekend against the Angels on Friday, I'm telling you, I'm getting a jersey. I'm telling you that right now. I'm getting a Yamamoto jersey in that thing. That's how much I like them. I'm being dead serious. I really like these jerseys. If I had to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a solid. This is an 8 for me. Listen, maybe because it's my team at the end of the day, and I know we did this with the Phillies and your brother, but this could be very well where, listen, anything the Dodgers put out is great, and I'm going to buy it and wear it anyways. But I really like these jerseys, and I think these are an 8 out of 10.
Okay, so obviously because this is the Dodgers, we texted this morning and we were talking about it a little bit. And there is a very specific reason why I told you I'm going to wait to tell you my opinion on these until we get on the podcast. And the reason for that is because I absolutely love these jerseys. I honestly, I'm not even joking with you. I love these. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna critique them at first. So number one, I don't like the sprinkle thing that they have. They could have done without that.
Fair enough.
I,
Yeah.
I truly do believe that. Number two, I would have liked to see a little bit more Dodger blue in these
Yeah.
jerseys. Other than that, I love them. Absolutely love them. And I'm going to tell you something I love even more than the jerseys, and that's the hat. This hat is gorgeous. I absolutely love the way that they incorporated the LA logo with the Dodger D in there as
I
well.
love that D, man. It's incredible.
There was a reason why I paused there to really think
Love,
about what I'm
man. I
saying.
love that D. I want it all, man. I want it.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah, so these jerseys are gorgeous. I love them. I think they're pretty high up on my list. I'm not gonna lie. These are easily top five for me. Um,
That's what I
like I
want to
said,
hear.
the only real complaint, if there's really any, is like I could have done without the red, like the confetti look. I don't like that. That's the only part that I really don't like. That's the only part I'm gonna critique. Other than that, I think these jerseys are extremely solid. I absolutely love them. These are an 8.5 for me. I can't go above the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
the ones that I put one and two. Um, but for me, I very easily I think these could be my third best, my third favorite City Connect that has dropped. I didn't think I was gonna love them this much, but I do. And that cap, I think it's the best City Connect hat that there is.
Ooh.
I do. I really do.
Okay.
I love
Okay.
the way.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get me one of those hats. Um.
If I was a Dodger fan, I would get one too. But if I were to get a Dodger hat, it would be this one.
Okay. Okay. Another reason why I think I like the jersey so much, I like the cream with it. Now there
Hmm.
was a lot of Dodger fans that were like, "You got to stay with the home white." It's like, no, you don't. Like, I like the cream. I like cream colors. I don't know why. I have this thing. I don't. That's as I've gotten older. That's become like one of my favorite colors, like the cream kind of logo, like the Buccaneers, what they do. I like the fact that the Dodgers are doing this too. Even the Phillies, with their alternate uniforms, they have like that cream look to them. I like that with the Dodgers that they did with this. It's not white, it's cream. Um, yeah, like I said, I'm definitely gonna get a jersey, Yamamoto. Uh, maybe on the podcast next week. Maybe I'll buy it. And hopefully I'll wear it by then. I hope
I'm
so.
excited to see it.
I hope
I'm
so. I'll
excited.
definitely have a hat and a T-shirt by then. I'll definitely have
Okay.
that. But I think I'm definitely gonna get a jersey and I'm gonna walk proud with this, cause I like it. I really do.
I would. I would too. I think seriously, I've heard a lot of hate comments on these jerseys in the comment section, in our comment section, on Twitter, everywhere. And I don't understand it. I really don't. If I love okay, so the biggest thing that really kind of put me onto these was City Connect.
Yes.
It's written in the damn name of the jersey. It's supposed to show what the city's about, and that's exactly what the Dodgers did here. Like I don't think that they could have executed it any better. I really don't. I love the way that they paid homage to Los Angeles, and I think they did a great job with it.
You want to see the city of stars? You gotta come to LA, man. And at night, you just gotta look up and see the stars and everything, and it looks amazing. We're at the part of the year, man. You can't beat those LA summer nights. I say it every year. We're at that part of the year now, and I think this jersey implements that a little bit, and I like them. Um, Continuing on. First All Star Game update for the voting. Now, I'm gonna pat myself on the back a little bit. I think I got most of these right. Now, it's
Especially
really
in the National League.
yeah, it's not
Dude,
that big of a deal because it's like well, I mean, it's really only between two guys, but I'm gonna give myself some credit. I did a good job on this, and listen, I'm surprised, and we got a lot of shit, and that posted very well, by the way. We got a
yeah.
lot of shit for taking Luis Ariz over Ketel Marte.
Hmm.
I don't want to say my bad, but I can see where everybody's coming from. However, that did not reflect in the voting because because everybody put Luis Ariz in second. But was there any takeaways? Was there anything that jumped out at you in this voting for either side?
Um, kind of, it's the Luis Araz and the Ketel Marte argument. I will 100% agree that I did not look into Ketel Marte's stats like that. I didn't think he was, didn't think it was that crazy. But yet again, I don't think Luis Araz is far off.
No.
And it showed in the voting, obviously.
Yeah.
But the way that I look at it is Luis Araz is probably the best contact hitter that we have seen in years.
Yes.
And yeah, if you want to call that a crazy statement, go for it. But in my heart of hearts, I don't think that we've, at least recently, like in the last 10, 15 years, I don't think that there's been a much better contact hitter than Luis Araz. Yeah, the power numbers lack a little bit, but yet again, this guy's getting on base. He's doing his
Doesn't hit for
job.
power, anyways.
No. And the thing is too, he's in San Diego, okay? You have guys out there who are going to drive him in. You have Machado, you have Tatis, you have all of these guys who are coming up and making an impact. So that's the one that kind of stuck out to me a little bit where, okay, I could have thought a little bit more into it, but yet again, I'm not mad with my decision. Like, it's whatever.
Me either.
Um, I'm really glad Jerickson Profar is getting some
I
love.
fucking hate that. Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm happy for him, and he deserves it because he's having a great season, and he's gonna get rewarded with a start in the All Star game. But he leads the entire National League outfield with votes. What the fuck? And then, meanwhile, the guy who called him Mr. Irrelevant, Will Smith, is on the outside looking in at his position, which I'm not happy about that. I think Will Smith has been better than JT this year, but um, I hate that Profar leads the NL outfielders in votes. But he deserves it. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. Absolutely, he deserves it, but damn it, I hate that. I thought he'd be like at second or third. To have him one? Are you kidding me?
That did jump out to me a little bit. I thought that was a little crazy, but I'm still just because Jerickson Profar, I love what he's doing in San Diego. I will say there's a few more that kind of stuck out to me here a little bit that I want to bring up. We kind of hit it on the head with Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt Jr. That's what it's going to look like for the foreseeable future. I
Yeah.
absolutely love Anthony Volpe's getting third in voting. By the way, that is beautiful to me. Um, I will say Jose Ramirez. I did drop the ball on that. I should have picked J Ram over Rafi Devers, but hey, whatever. Um, and last little tidbit here. Love Alex Verdugo getting some votes, coming in at six in the AL outfield.
Yeah.
And then my two guys at 1 and 2 with Judge and Soto. Love that. Last little tidbit here. Stephen Kwan, I was not familiar with you like that. Dude, have you. I want you to do me a favor at some point. I want you to go to his baseball reference and just look at those stats. Because when I looked today, I was like, what the fuck is
How did
this?
I miss this?
How the hell did I miss this? So I am extremely sorry. My apologies to Stephen Kwan. I also saw a stat today where he doesn't have many ABs, but take this into consideration. He has more three-hit games this season than he does one-hit games. That
Wow.
is that's insane. I saw that on Twitter this morning. And when I saw that, I was like, there's no way. So I did a little digging and it's true and I'm like, are you kidding me? How in the hell did I miss this when we were making our list last week? It's crazy to me. So my biggest takeaway here is Stephen Kwan. I am extremely sorry. I definitely should have put you in my outfield there. Um, but other than that, I think my biggest thing, Aaron Judge leads all of voting. I
No
think that's
surprise.
amazing.
I think that's not a surprise.
Absolutely. Come on now, it can't be. My guy Soto 1 and 2. So we're gonna see an AL outfield this year, most likely of Judge and Soto, and I think that is such a beautiful thing. Maybe Dougie might even get some ABs in there. You never know. But no, I was happy with our picks.
Same
In
here.
I think, and if you look at the National League side, dude, we weren't far off,
No.
like at all. I think you were actually because you picked J Ram, I picked Devers,
Yeah.
so I think you were a little closer than I was. But I mean, even our
You
guy
had
Bohm,
Yelich, I didn't.
yeah,
I had
that was
Teoscar
it.
in there.
Okay, yeah, I mean, even Bohm too. Bohm was getting some votes. I think he leads NL third baseman. So
Yep. By a
he's
wide margin, too.
he
By
does.
almost 800,000 votes.
That's nuts. That's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. Philly fans have done their job.
They have,
Any
they have.
category they lead is by a big margin.
Yep.
The only thing
Yes.
I was a little disappointed. I thought Josh Naylor should get more love. I thought
Mm,
I completely understand Mount Castle, and I understand Vladdy's the sexier name, and he's the star.
that's why I picked
Yeah,
Vladdy.
and trust me, I would too. But I thought Josh Naylor should get some love in there. I think he'll still make the team, but I thought
I
he
do
deserved
agree.
a starting spot.
I I after we hopped off last week and I was kind of like looking back at my picks and everything, I was a little mad that I didn't pick Josh Naylor because he does deserve it. Looking at this Cleveland team, man, I don't think Cleveland would be where they're at without Josh Naylor.
Absolutely, I agree.
His energy that he brings, I absolutely hate him after the rocking the baby situation, but no, I think he brings a fire and I think he deserves it. So we'll see where the voting goes from here. But I was extremely happy with the way everything came out.
Same here. And baseball fans are smart, and I think they got most of them right, which is good, and you like to see that.
I agree.
Continuing on, how about the Seattle Mariners? You texted me last week, and yeah, I'm watching the Mariners because they're on the West Coast and they're on late at night. Usually, there's some nights where they're like literally the last game on. So I'm like, I'll watch the
Yeah.
Mariners. They have an 8.5 lead in the American League West, and that is I believe that's the second largest in the league, or the third largest. That's the third largest in the league because the Dodgers and Phillies are tied. And then, but they are also they're the largest lead in the American League. Um, this is impressive. I forget how much how our standings were to beginning of the year, but I don't think any of us had Seattle winning the division.
Not at all. No. Mm-mm.
Um, they are 41-33 as of right now. They have a 3-game winning streak, and they're 7-3 in the last 10 games. They've been impressive. They have the third best record in the American League, but that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's pretty damn good. Um, is this their division to lose, or do Texas or the Astros, who have been completely abominable this season? I say that as the Rangers took 2 out of 3 from my Dodgers last week. Um, does one of them catch them, or is Seattle going to run away with this?
I 100% believe that this is Seattle's division to lose. I think it has to be, right? If you look at this, if you would have told me that this is what the American League West, and I'm not even talking about records here. Like I'm sorry, I'm not talking about seeding. I'm not talking about teams. I'm talking as a division as a whole. The American League West is honestly kind of pathetic. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not taking anything away from the Seattle Mariners here because I think they're a good young team. I absolutely we hype up this pitching staff all the time because it is when healthy, this pitching staff is arguably best in baseball. Logan Gilbert just went 8 innings, I believe it was last night. I mean, this entire pitching staff can carry this Seattle team. The lineup is doing their thing. They're kind of winning games. J Rod needs to come around a little bit more for me to really kind of have some faith in this team because I don't think they get deep into October without J Rod actually being the one that we're used to. But they have a good supporting cast up there. I'm not going to take anything away from them. They took advantage of this division. Um, but when I look at it as a whole, this is not at all how I expected this. Obviously, you have 5 and 4 seeding. That's kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
But if you would have told me that the Astros on June 17th are currently third in the American League West with a 33-39 record, 9 games back, I would have looked at you like you had four fucking heads. I'm sorry. This Astros team is shocking the hell out of me every single game. Texas too. I knew that they were going to have a World Series drought, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I mean, they pretty much have the same kind of guys, and I understand that they've had injuries and they lost Montgomery and they lost a few pieces to free agency, but they pretty much have the same lineup. So I didn't expect this big of a drop off, but props to the Seattle Mariners. Keep going. I think they're shocking a lot of people right now, but they have the team to do it. That's the
Yep.
thing. And I never took anything away from the Mariners in our preseason projections,
I did.
but my biggest thing was I expected Houston to obviously run away from with this division, and then I expected Texas to be in two, which they are, but that's beside the point. But it's definitely taken a turn for the complete opposite way that I thought it was going to go. But no, Seattle, keep going, man. Jeez, I like to see it. This is a Mariners team that has been knocking on the door for the last few seasons now, and they just haven't been able to put it together. So, in their case, hopefully that they can keep this up. Um, I think this makes them buyers at the deadline.
Yep.
I really do. I think that they could add more to this lineup. I think the pitching rotation's fine, um, but add more to the lineup, and I think you got a pretty damn good team here who could make some noise in October.
Absolutely. And the reason why I wasn't high on them this year is because they kind of downsized. They kind of sold at the deadline last year and in the off season than they try to add. You know,
Yeah,
I knew you knew that they weren't going to sign one of the big free agents, but the owner basically came out and said that yeah, we kind of don't have any money right now to pay anybody. So then they got rid of Eugenio Suarez. You know, they traded Paul Sewald at the deadline last year. So just from the outside looking in, it was like, well, how is this team going to be any good? They could be decent, but I didn't think winning the division by 8.5 games, going into
absolutely.
the end, pretty much the end of June here. But and the other thing you got to feel if you're a Mariners fan, if you can get to the postseason with no Houston Astros in there, uh, because that was kind of like your demon 2 years ago. Well, obviously they swept you, but you were in all those games and you just couldn't get the big outs or you couldn't get the big hit. And I think Seattle could be a lot loose if they don't have to worry about the Houston Astros in that postseason also.
And to be honest with you here, I'm going to double down on what you said. I think that's an amazing point that you just brought up. I think that goes for a lot of American League teams this year.
Yep.
If there is no Houston Astros in postseason baseball, I mean, come on, Cleveland, Baltimore, New
Yankees.
York, Seattle, especially my Yankees. Anything can happen. This Astros team has been tormenting the entire American League since 2017. So for the fact that we might get a postseason, we might get in October without the Houston Astros in the first time in a very long time. Um, some of these teams could surprise the hell out of us. It worries me a little bit, but
All that
we'll see
pressure
when that.
shifts to New York though.
I 100% it does. Yeah, I think so. Especially if New York can continue their. I mean, they're only up a game and a half on the O's right now, but I mean, New York and Baltimore are going to be in the postseason.
Yep.
It's just a matter of
Who
seeding.
finishes where? Yeah.
Exactly. Um, but for the fact that now the pressure goes to New York, I'm interested to see how they're going to respond. But no, I think that goes for the American League as a whole. I mean, even Cleveland, dude. Cleveland leading the AL Central right now, and I think this opens up a whole new spot too. With Houston out, you have Kansas City, Minnesota, Boston, Texas, kind of looming there for those wild card spots. So we might get a team in there that we haven't seen in a while, where hey, and we all know this far too well. Once October hits, anything can happen. Doesn't matter about records. It doesn't matter who's on your team. It matters of who's hot. And if I don't know, let's just say a Minnesota Twins team gets in there, gets hot at the right time, you never know what's going to happen. Um, so yeah, no, that's definitely a great point that you just brought up.
Absolutely. Um, Finish it with your Yankees. I did my Dodgers thing. What's going on with the Yankees? I know they lost 2 out of 3 to Boston. Probably don't like that, but
No,
what
no, not at
else?
all.
What else is going on in Yankee land?
Yeah, so obviously, the Yankees are sitting at 50 and 24 right now, currently leading the American League East by a game and a half. Kind of touched on that a little bit. Yeah, we just lost two out of three to Boston. Hate that, especially because it was at Fenway. Those Boston fans, that's their World Series for the year. Um, anyway, things are pretty okay right now. I mean, I'm not. It's kind of business as usual. Aaron Judge keeps doing his thing. Juan Soto's doing his. Verdugo, he showed out for his game against his former team. You texted me. He said
Yeah, I
Verdugo.
saw that live.
That was a beautiful sight to see. But I think so. There's going to be some big question marks surrounding this team very shortly. Uh, as we're recording here, I got a notification. Anthony Rizzo is going to the IL, and his abysmal play already kind of piqued my interest in the trade deadline. It's going to be interesting to see what this team does because obviously we're in a point to be buyers right now, especially because Juan Soto is still. I mean, we need to remember he's not guaranteed after this season. So, right now you're in a win now, and I think it's kind of like more pressure from the fan base to win now than it was in 2017, 2018, 2019, and so forth and so on. So yeah, everything's going okay right now, but there's still major holes that need to be filled on this team. I want to see a first baseman acquired at the deadline. I want to see a third baseman acquired, and we need to address the bullpen a little bit. Cardiac Clay still not not guaranteed there in the ninth inning. Obviously, right now, from the looks of it, DJ LeMahieu is going to slide over to first base, and then Oswaldo is going to be the everyday third baseman, which isn't the greatest thing. I don't love that. So, these are going to be some questions that need to be answered. Do I think, a guy like Gleyber Torres could be on the move? Yeah, I could see it, especially if you're trying to acquire um, corner corner infielder here. So there's a lot of question marks that are going to come up, and the Yankees are slated to start a three-game set against the O's tomorrow. So by the end of this next series, the Yankees could be back in second place in the AL East. Um, on better news, Garrett Cole's back. He'll be starting against the O's on Wednesday. Absolutely love to hear that. Um, my reigning Cy Young Award winner. It's beautiful. I have to take a second to kind of let that set in and realize that we're getting Garrett Cole back. Um, this is a pitching rotation that really hasn't seemed to take Garrett Cole as a hit. I mean, they've kind of all stepped up, they've done their thing, and now Cole gets to slide back into the rotation. Um, I'm excited to see that. Carlos Rodon's doing his thing. Marcus Stroman had a iffy start. I think it's going to be interesting to see where they slide Garrett Cole back in because as of now they have a five-man rotation, which means somebody's going to be the odd man out. I don't see it being Luis Gill, so that leaves Nestor, and we're going to see how that goes. So I'm excited to see the moves that they make. Obviously, I don't have too much to touch on. I'll have more next week, especially after this O's series. Um, yeah, it's kind of just business as usual.
Yeah, Yankees 50 wins. Shouldn't be complaining that much. But I listen. I know there's a lot of things that you know. There's things to
It,
critique, and I get it.
it's more housekeeping things,
Right.
right? Like I'm looking forward. Like I'm okay where they're at now, but I'm looking forward to. There's problems here that need to be addressed at some point. Um, the one thing I will say, don't be surprised if you hear a guy named Ben Rice getting called up real soon. This kid is absolutely tearing it up down in AAA. He's a catcher originally, but I think he can play first base. So that's what makes me think that might be a move on the way. But we'll see where it goes. Obviously, the Yankees still have yet to put Rizzo on the IL. That hasn't been official quite yet, so we'll see what the corresponding move is. But no, I'm content with where the Yankees are right now.
And that's good. Um, I know you just said a bunch of stuff, but if you don't have anything else, I think that's it. We
I don't
covered
think so.
everything.
Other than Garrett Cole, please just stay healthy for the rest of the year. We need you. This is dog days are coming up. It's always fun baseball when we hit the end of June.
Yeah, because the NHL and the NBA seasons are about to be over this week, and after that, baseball kind of takes center stage here for the next 2 months. And
See, these are my favorite times of the year, right? Because like you just said, NHL is over, NBA is over, and then we start getting the casuals back into it,
yeah,
right? And I love seeing, dude, Twitter during these months where there's nothing but baseball. Twitter's a fun place. The takes that I hear are it's great. I absolutely love it. But yes, this is the time of year where it starts to get fun.
definitely. That'll be it for episode 81. Um, Continue to follow our socials. Look out for the next episode next Monday, and we'll see you next week. Adios.